Hello everyone. In this video today we're going to be taking a look at an article from Slate that was published on August 30th, written by April Glaser or Glaser, don't care, because with the hit piece that she wrote here against, Gab.ai and anyone who uses it, she can go fuck herself. And the reason why I say that is because I'm over at Gab.ai. And I'm not a Nazi, a white supremacist, or a member of the alt-right. But yet, that's what she's trying to say Gab.ai is. She's a pathetic piece of shit, and she can go fuck herself. The internet of hate. After Charlottesville, Nazis, white supremacists, and the alt-right have become a lot less welcome on the web. So they're building their own. Now, here's the thing. You idiots on the left throw that term Nazi around and have absolutely no clue what an actual, factual fucking Nazi is because none of you go learn what history is. See, there are no actual Nazis unless you want to talk about George Soros, who is an actual, factual Nazi, who is a Jew who lied about the fact of being a Jew, joined the Nazis, and marched other Jews from the ghettos off to the concentration camps to be gassed, worked to death, and die in other awful, disgusting, and vile ways. So, unless you're talking zombies, because the last actual Nazis were are buried and long since dead, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So anyways, let's get into this article here. The social network Gab.ai started in August 2016, 3 months before the world changed. Oh, God. There's a hint at the whole fact of President Trump getting elected. You've got Trump derangement, April. You need help. Go see a shrink. Oh, wait a minute. The shrink you'd probably see already is probably seeing a shrink for Trump derangement theirself or theirselves. The timing was not a coincidence. Actually, it kind of was. Well, kind of, sort of, and kind of, sort of wasn't. With the cracking down on Twitter of, anything that wasn't pro-Hillary, anything that was exposing her, anything that was pro-Trump, they censored that. The same with Facebook, which led to Gab.ai being born. Gab.ai is the result of the left trying to censor people. That's a fact. If the left didn't do that, if Suck a Nut and Jack at Twitter, didn't have bugs up their asses, this shit would have never have happened. There would have been no need for an alternative platform. It's that simple. But see, you're leaving that fact out, April, that you guys created the situation that led to Gab.ai. Founded in San Mateo, California by one-time Silicon Valley-based Trump supporter Andrew Torba, a former ad tech CEO, the network was initially built by just 4 people and with no outside investment. Right, and guess what? Not all of them were white. So, you're trying to paint a picture of, him, which we're going to see in a second. And you're trying to portray this as starting out as a white supremacist, neo-Nazi, Nazi, KKK-loving, fucking, pro-them type of thing. You're pretty friggin' pathetic. Torba, who was once kicked out of the influential startup accelerator Y Combinator for violating its harassment policy, which is relevant how? It isn't. You're just trying to do a hit piece, so you're trying to sling some mud, which is fucking pathetic, April. Did you talk about this with your cats at the house? Huh? Did they tell you it was a good idea? You're fucking pathetic, April. So, yeah, he was, kicked out for violating the harassment policy, had grown frustrated with what he described to BuzzFeed as the entirely left-leaning big social monopoly. that decided what news deserved to be trending and what did and did not count as harassment on the internet. Yeah, that whole thing that I was talking about a minute ago with Twitter and Facebook. And not only that, their whole censoring thing. Besides that, the fact of, okay, well, you upset Anita Sarkeesian. That's harassment. And all you did was offer a counterpoint of fact. I mean, that's literally the type of stuff that's gone on Twitter. Okay? On Twitter, okay, I've literally had threats of doxing. And just for shits and giggles, I mean, very specific threats of doxing. And for shits and giggles, I submitted them to to Twitter. Reported them. Just to see what would happen. Because I'm like, watch. Nothing's going to happen. Oh, this doesn't violate our terms of service. Oh, really? Person's threatening to dox me. And that's not a violation. Really? Okay. And then, on the other hand, you know, you don't, if you're not on the left, you look at someone cross-eyed, so to speak, and boom, it's a violation of TOS. So that's what he's talking about. Now, a year later, Gab has more than 240,000 users and has raised $1 million via crowdfunding, which scared the shit out of you on the left, because this was all average people kicking in some money that got them up to that $1 million, which it celebrated with a middle finger tweet to Silicon Valley elitist trash. Oh, are you upset that Gab.ai gave the finger to people like Suck a Nut and Jack the Fuckwit over at Twitter? Huh? April, did you have to go to a safe space and need a trauma animal? Or did you just use coloring books to get your frustrations and your feelings out? Did you stay within the lines? Just asking. Because you're one little triggered bitch. Brandon with the face of Pepe. Wrong. Before we go any further. Gab.ai has a frog. Doesn't look anything like Pepe. Looks to me more kind of like a Kermit than a Pepe. Okay? Pepe the frog. Gab's frog. Pepe the frog. Not even remotely close. But see, April expects the average reader at Slate to be too stupid to do a search for 2 fucking seconds. And this article is to go out there to try to dissuade people that would read Slate or Salon or HuffPo, or because they all kind of read the same, you know, those people tend to read those same friggin' publications, type of publications, okay? It's to dissuade them from going to Gab.ai. That's why, oh yeah, let's portray this as a Pepe thing. So Brandon with the face of Pepe, the anthropomorphic frog that has become the emblematic meme of the alt-right. Gab is a digital playpen for Nazis, white supremacists, men's rights activists, anti-PC crusaders, gamergates, anti-feminists, free speech absolutists, and anyone who loves a solidly offensive joke. Oh my God! April! You are a fucking scumbag! You're actually trying to fucking classify someone who believes in free speech with Nazis, or your perceived Nazis. Oh my God! We know where you stand on free speech, bitch. The same free speech that allows you to have this job and talk the shit that you are. So, let's go through these here. One, again, unless they're fucking zombies, there are no Nazis at Gab. There are nationalists, okay, which are just people who believe in the fact of the United States and keeping the borders, how do I put this, like, the best way? Keeping the borders intact. I mean, that's not exactly the best way I put it, but it works. So they want to keep the borders intact. They want to have regulated, legal immigration. They want to have, the fact of take care of Americans first because, we should before we worry about anyone else. Those are the types of things that they're for, okay? But then you have like the whites, which Nazi white supremacist. You're using the same. You call anyone who does not agree with you a Nazi. So okay, anyone that does not agree with you is there. Okay, white supremacists, which would be the neo-Nazis, which would be the white nationalists, which would be the KKK types, which there really aren't any on any of those. I mean, there are some, but they're not the dominating force there. Who else would be under that white supremacist? Let's see. We've got the white nationalists, the neo-Nazis. Okay, so, but anyone that falls under that. Anyways, you've got those there. And you're trying to paint this broad brush and slip those in with everyone else. And I fucking love it. Because, I mean, here's the thing. Yeah, there's some white supremacists everywhere. There's white supremacists on Twitter. There's black supremacists on Twitter. I don't hear you calling for Twitter to go after all the black people that hate whites and other minorities, mind you, besides, the blacks being a minority, that are racist as fucking call for the death of white people and other races. I don't hear you calling for that. But oh no, white supremacists even worse. The men's right activists. Oh God, so we also know where you stand, okay, on the whole feminism thing. You're a feminazi, April. Good to know. So men wanting equal fucking rights in court when it comes to divorce, child custody, things like that, where the courts favor women. They're evil and bad. Are you fucking kidding me? You're twisted, bitch. You really are. The anti-PC crusaders. What's wrong with being against political correctness? Oh, that's right. Political correctness is used to shut down speech, like the whole hate speech term thing. Okay? That's why you got a problem with people who are against political correctness. Because heaven forbid you speak your mind and let the chips fall where they may hurt someone's feelings, but guess what? The truth getting out there might be a better thing than their feelings being spared. The Gamergaters. Oh, you mean the ones who exposed the fucking feminist infiltration of the whole gaming, like ecology, whether it's the game houses, whether it's the fucking publications, Anita, fuckwit, bitch, douchebag, Sarkeesian, them? Oh, God, the people who are against all that shit and expose them for the pieces of shit that they are, the feminists over there. The ones who expose them for being fucking assholes, for nitpicking about Laura Croft and shit like that. Oh, heaven forbid. Oh, no, anti-feminists. Oh, well, again, that one we know where you stand, you feminazi douchebag. Heaven forbid there's a place where men aren't silenced by feminists. Heaven fucking forbid, where men who want equal fucking standing on things, where women have gained the upper hand, okay, and anti-feminists can get together, okay, and actually communicate with each other. Heaven fucking forbid. Free speech absolutists. Oh, wow. Oh, where I said we know where you stand on that one. Okay, we can't have people that actually believe in the fact of full, unfettered, free speech. Because then you can't silence people. But, as I said, that same free speech allows you to do this shitty hit piece. So, oh, and you got to throw in the people who like offensive jokes. So I guess Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle, do they have accounts on Gab? Because I haven't seen them out there. Just curious. Because those would be two people I would think that love solidly offensive jokes. Notifications are sounded with the croak of a frog. Yeah? Okay. That's a big fucking whoop. Your point. If an anti-Semitic or racist or sexist remark isn't the first post you come across, it's likely the second, third, or fourth. Wrong. I highly doubt you've been to the site. April, what was your account? What account did you sign up with to get onto Gab? Because you're full of shit. You really are full of shit. It's a safe space for the kinds of people the rest of us want to feel safe from. No, you're the ones who need fucking safe spaces, okay? It's not a safe space. I love how you try to project your shit on to the people at Gab.ai, okay? No, Gab.ai is not a safe space. Gab.ai is a place where free speech is respected. Meaning, you can say what you want, but other people may disagree, and they're going to friggin' tell you. They are going to friggin' tell you. So how is it a safe fucking space? Because if someone says something that I disagree with, and I'm none of the things that you're accusing me of being except for, the free speech absolutist, which is not a bad thing. All right? So, if I see something that I'm going to disagree with, I'm going to comment on it. So it's not a safe space, because people do that with anything they disagree with. You know? Even if, they comment if they agree, they comment if they disagree. So, it's not a safe space. You're going to have people question your shit. It's not Twitter. Twitter is a safe space because you've got people out there in an echo fucking chamber. That's a safe space. Get your facts straight. Like I said, quit projecting. The users feel their perspectives have few homes elsewhere on the internet, shaped by the left-tilting values of Silicon Valley, the rejection of which has propelled Gab's rise. Well, actually, it's more than the left-tilting values. It's the Marxist, okay, with, on the note of these companies, globalist, trying to censor people type shit that we've got a problem with if we're at Gab.ai, or if we're not on Gab.ai, but we still have a, issue, we take issue. That's what our issue is. And and the fact is you're leaving out the fact that anyone who's, not pushing the leftist, feminazi, globalist, SJW, LGBTQ, AEIOU, and Y, okay, bullshit, are the ones who are finding that they're having, fewer places to express their opinions because they're being silenced. Because you don't want to hear what they have to say. Because you know that with what they have to say, they have reason, fact, and logic to back them. You've got your feelings. And that never trumps anything. No pun intended. On August 17th, the week after Nazis and white supremacists marched through Charlottesville, Virginia, and 2 days after Gab's first anniversary, Google booted Gab from its app store. Well, first off, you mean on August 17th, when the people that you're calling Nazis and white supremacists, and yes, there were people there that were white nationalists, white socialists, okay, like National Socialists. There were, old dudes dressed up in the KKK shit. You had other individuals there that were white nationalists, but you also had people there that you're failing to look at that were there to protest the destruction and removal of history. Because regardless, good or bad, history needs to be in your face so you don't repeat the mistakes. And the thing is you're also leaving out the fact that, and the video footage proves it, Antifa started that whole incident when the police were escorting a group that had a permit to be there at that park, and were there peacefully into the waiting arms of a group that consisted of two different ones that had permits for a completely different area across town and didn't have a legal right to be there. So they got led into being attacked by them. Now, I think it's deplorable, the whole white supremacy thing, the whole white nationalist thing. But I feel the same way about BLM, which is a black racist group. When you have the founders and leaders saying that whites are subhuman, that they should die, stuff like that, that says it all. So having that going on, and the left starting the escalation, you can't try to put this on the right and imply that, hey, well, they're part of it and that's why they got booted, because you're also leaving out the fact of why they got booted. Because they claimed it was white supremacists because they found the fact that people were exercising their right to free speech. And here's the irony. You can still put the app on your phone. You just have to go to the website to install it. Don't know what to tell you on that one. I love how you're going to leave that out, I'm sure. That made Gab only the latest in a recent spate of online offerings. Okay. In the past few weeks, American hate groups have found themselves being shut out of the internet, where for years they've gathered, growing into thriving and increasingly organized communities online. Complete bullshit. You see, the left created the alt-right. All right. The Antifa thing has been going on since Occupy. You created a mirror image. Before that, there weren't people out there looking for that shit. You had a few inbred dipshits that were. You guys escalated shit. You guys went after, okay, whites are the roots of all evil, especially white men. You did that shit. You created that situation. You created a market for them to go looking for that shit. That's all on you. But you don't want to own up to your shit because you people on the left, you don't believe in taking personal fucking responsibility for your actions. So, they haven't been growing and thriving for years. No, this is a recent thing. And it's your fault. It's all you assholes on the fault. It's all you assholes on the left's fault, April. The gutting began before the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville when companies like Airbnb and Facebook booted some of the event's organizers from their platform. Now, here's the thing. At that point, it was not a white supremacist type thing. It was more about organizing all of the right. But then, the guy who organized it came out, is fucking working for CNN, so you got a CNN guy organizing this. Talk about a setup. You then have, the Clinton News Network, and I love this one. You then have a white nationalist and his group there who, and this is why you guys are upset about the whole email hack bullshit, which was done by Seth Rich, by the way. It exposes fucked up shit that Hillary was doing, criminal and otherwise. So this guy, his white national group, him personally, has very close ties to Hillary Clinton. So much so that there's an email in the D-mail dump, and I'm not sure if it's Podesta or her that initiated, but I believe it comes from her, and it says, I don't want him or his people to have any positions in the White House, but he is to have briefings 4 times a week. And they're trying to blame this as a right thing and villainize the right. But you have a guy who works for CNN, the Clinton News Network, and this other guy, the white nationalist, the white Nazi nationalist, as you guys would put it, the National Socialist, who's in like Flynn with Hillary, running shit. You also then have the fact that with that, the whole tiki torch thing was an exact mirror of the actual descended Nazis, as in they descended from, the actual descended Nazis in fucking Ukraine. Okay, they mirrored exactly what they did. Now, this is when George Soros has direct ties to some of these people in that group. Huh. A little fucked up, ain't it? But yet you're going to paint this whole fucking situation the way you are. Not acknowledging that there's this shit going on. Because, oh, heaven bid, that destroys your narrative and you're trying to villainize Gab. And if you actually looked at what was really going on and had to expose that, you'd wake up these other idiots on the left. But you see, you're so brainwashed and stupid that you don't know what the fuck actual facts are. After the weekend turned deadly and scenes of white supremacist mobs marching in the streets saturated social media and television, more online businesses began to kick neo-Nazis off, too. They were outnumbered! They were fucking outnumbered by BLM, okay, and fucking Antifa and other, like, people that were there to, like, quote-unquote, protest them. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about on that one. Most prominently, the Daily Stormer, the white supremacist website that served as the primary organizing hub for the rally, lost its hosting with GoDaddy after mocking the counter-protester who was killed by a white supremacist's car in Charlottesville. Actually, no, she was a protester. Because they were having a rally, she went there to protest it. So she is a protester. And what happened to her is a tragedy. And what the Daily Stormer did was wrong and sheer fucking stupidity to do what they did on the note of mocking her death. The website moved to Google the next day for hosting, but only hours later, the online search giant also banned it, effectively excommunicating the Daily Stormer from the open internet. Well, no, there were other alternatives, but they didn't want to risk it. Last Friday, the oldest and most prominent forum for hate groups online, stormfront.org, lost its domain hosting too. Yeah, it had its property that it paid for, its domain name, seized by Google illegally. Without any due process of law or legal precedence to do so. Now, do I agree with the Daily Stormer? Fuck no. Alright, I could give two shits what those people think. I really don't care. The thing is what is legal and what is correct, and it's not right to fucking censor them regardless. Because someday someone's going to come, if this continues, for you, April. And then you're going to lose your little job doing this because no First Amendment. You can't fucking do this shit. So, yeah. This is fucking ridiculous. That you're trying to fucking portray this the way you are. So, let's continue here. What's new about the latest group ban is that rather than Facebook, OkCupid, or Airbnb revoking individual and group accounts, the internet gatekeepers are now kicking out whole organizations. Yeah, this was why the U.S. should have remained in control of the whole domain name situation, ICANN, all of it. It's our intellectual property. Our country invented it. We should keep hold of it. But no, Obama signed that shit to the UN. And they're going to do more of this shit now that they have the ability to do it, above the fact of any legal right to do so. And what gets me is you bring up the fact of OkCupid. OkCupid, and this has been all over Twitter, is banning and canceling accounts of people that support the president. And say, I voted because, with all the asshole leftists out there, you got to put, look, I supported Trump because that's a major issue for all of them out there. Okay, if you go on OkCupid, and it's now starting to change a little bit because people are like, well, I should probably take that off. But if you look at people's profiles, especially women, if you voted for that Trump, it's like, They could put that shit and like be very vile in it. But someone puts, I supported and voted for the president, and boom, they get kicked. You're leaving that fucking little fact out, aren't you? Because you're a douchey bitch, April. You really are. The Gab removal, for instance, made an entire platform essentially unavailable to Android app users. Apple already had rejected Gab. Actually, no, it didn't, because as I said, you can go to their website and download the app and put it on your phone. But you don't want people to know that because you don't want people to go check it out because you're completely lying about it because you're a sleazy, disgusting bitch. Though Gab is still accessible through web browsers, a social media startup without an iPhone or Android app has a massive disadvantage. But Gab already had a plan in motion. Yeah. And they still have the app available. And if I were them, I'd put the Apple app up there and have a link to jailbreaking an Apple phone and putting that thing on. That's me personally. A week earlier, following the firing of Google memo writer James Damore, Gab announced the advent of a new movement. Enough is enough. Read the Gab Makers Medium post from August 10th, 2 days before the Unite the Right rally. The time is now for patriots and free thinkers inside and outside Silicon Valley to organize, communicate in a safe way, and start building. The post read, calling for the formation of a new group called the Free Speech Tech Alliance. And I love how you interject your own bullshit here from this point forward, which would build an alternative infrastructure where the alt-right wouldn't be burdened by the social justice priorities and liberal values of Silicon Valley, nor by the arguably monopolistic powers of the major nodes of the information economy like Facebook, Google, Apple, and their peers. That's all you're fucking throwing in there. What's wrong with competition? Oh, you don't want competition either. So what, you're a fucking communist who believes in the global corporate communism? You know, where they run the shit and you have to live under their communist rule, but they're the ones who actually control shit? Because that's what it sounds like. Because, I mean, just look at this. You're throwing this in of saying, well, they're building it for alt-right, this alternative infrastructure for the alt-right. No, they're building it for everyone. They want to build it for anyone who wants free speech, anyone who will not be silent. They want it for anyone to be able to express themselves, like you're doing here, using the First Amendment. And the fact is Facebook is a fucking disgusting company, the same with Google, Apple, and their peers on this whole censorship thing. Gab and a growing number of his compatriots in the alt-tech movement want to build their own internet, one that can be a haven for hate. No! A haven for free speech, you misrepresentative bitch. You are pathetic. Excuse me for the cough. You really are pathetic. It's not easy to build an internet. We may think of the web as an abstract, open field owned by no one in particular, a legend grounded in its origin as a government project, as well as our tendency to imagine its hardwiring the way we do other communications infrastructure, like cable or radio airwaves. You really don't... Okay. It's actually pretty easy to build a network. Going to show that you have no clue about what you're talking about, or you are trying to make it sound like it's a lot harder than what it is. To build an actual network, which is what the internet is. You have your nodes and you have your means of connecting them, whether it's, you know, copper cables like Ethernet Cat5 or fiber optics or whatever. You know, microwave transmission, whatever. And then you build up from there. And we already have that basic structure to build off of. So it's not like they're building a complete new internet with new infrastructure. They're building off of the existing infrastructure. And the web is an abstract. It really is. So, I don't know what to tell you. It's an open field owned by no one in particular. Yeah, it actually is. A legend that's grounded in its origin as a government project, yeah. Actually, no. That's not exactly factually correct. because the internet is not based off of the ARPANET. It's actually based off of the NSFNet, the National Science Foundation, that's what grew into the internet. The ARPANET was somewhat attached to it because you had universities working on government projects and that, and instead of having them directly connected to ARPA at one point, they were connecting through the National Science Foundation's network. So, okay. Yeah, you've proved you don't know what the fuck you're talking about here. As well as our tendency to imagine it's hardwiring the way we do other communications infrastructure, like cable or radio waves. Yeah. How do you think your cable works these days? It's internet. Your cable box is literally a cable modem with a computer in it that runs software that then connects to a service on the network sending the video. That's how on-demand works. That's how live TV works. You have no clue what you're talking about. But the internet is really a series of core services, most of them privately owned and managed, that host content and give users directions to find it. Actually, wrong. Jesus Christ, you're really trying to portray this as these corporations run the fucking shit. These corporations are the ones that own these services and stop you from doing it. Most of them are running Linux and Unix variants for their infrastructure. The software they're running, unless they wrote it themselves, okay, or customized it, is open source and free software. For the most part. So, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, and you're trying to portray this as a completely different situation. If those core service providers don't want something on the internet, they can do a pretty good job of disappearing it. Actually, no, they can't, because anyone can take and set up on their connection to the internet a web server, put it out there, register with search engines. And Google isn't the only search engine. I mean, you have DuckDuckGo, you have Bing. I mean, even Yahoo is still around. But there's a lot of different, there's several different search engines. So it's not like they can completely disappear it. So you're trying to make this case that they can be abolished and wiped out and be disappeared forever. That's not how it works. You don't know technology, and yet you're writing about technology. Interesting. If the alt-right wants to escape the web that the rest of us live on, no, if anyone that values free speech wants to have it, would be more accurate. The platforms of the alt-tech movement that Gab have ignited will, for one, need to find domain name registries that will work with them. Yeah, because you see, Obama fucked up and gave that shit to the fucking UN, which is just going to be able to cause them to silence anyone they disagree with. Trump should go, I'm going to Indian give. Fuck you. And I'm an American Indian, so I can fucking say that. Fuck you. Okay. He should do that because, I mean, look at this. You're like, well, if they got to find work with him, hint, hint. Don't work with them. But already major companies like GoDaddy and Namecheap have decided to refuse service to sites like the Daily Stormer. A change from these companies' long-running stance of generally not interfering with what customers decide to run on their websites. Well, the thing is we have these fuckwits like you, April, that basically want to force their morality and their point of view and their everything on the majority of people. And you are a minority. You're not the majority. And the thing is the majority is stopping being silent. And they're now standing up, and you don't like that. No one on your side likes that. You're fucking pathetic. You really are. I mean, this article, you talk about Gab, and then you go into this whole fucking white supremacist Daily Stormer shit, and you focus on that. Okay, you're trying to conflate Gab.ai to the Daily Stormer. And that's pathetic, and it's sleazy, and it's disgusting. Alt-right sites have other more underground options, like using an unnamed raw numerical address or trying to find sympathetic managers of top-level domains outside the US, or going to the dark web, a part of the internet where websites can be hosted anonymously but are only accessible via a special browser like Tor. That's one thing the Daily Stormer did after being banned. If these websites hope to be publicly accessible, they will need to find hosting as well as shielding from technical attacks, like DDoS protection. But even Cloudflare, a web service company that specializes in defense against distributed denial of service or DDoS attacks, and is famous for not discriminating against clients, decided to pull support for the Daily Stormer after Charlottesville, too. But even I read that wrong. But even Cloudflare, a web service company that specializes in defense against... Yep. Okay, I read that wrong. So, yeah, they denied it. Yeah, okay. So, while it's not impossible for the alt-tech movement to grow into something bigger, if the web service companies like domain registrars, security providers, and App Store refuses to do business with them even before they build their own system, it's not going to be easy. This is about free speech, bitch. And you know that, but you're trying to make it sound like the alt-right and all this. And that's why you're conflating the Daily Stormer with Gab.ai. You're pathetic. It all, and I love this next sentence. It also takes resources. And what did you just say in the beginning of this? Gab.ai raised $1 million. They did it in like a couple days, if that. So this whole thing of taking resources, that's not an issue for them. The early iterations of whatever Gab's movement produces may very well be funded by its builders, many of whom purportedly have high-paying jobs in Silicon Valley. Okay, yeah, good. But wait, before we move on, I just had something pop in my head, and I wanted to go back up here real quick. Because I love how they're saying this. They're going to have to find sympathetic managers in top-level domains or go to the dark web, go outside the U.S. See, the thing is you're going to have people, they're trying to make it sound like that they're going to be sympathetic on the note of, like, fellow racists. No. If it's someone who values free speech, they might hate what the Daily Stormer has to say, but they're going to go, yeah, I'd rather... You guys are out there, it's free speech. And the thing is what you drive underground, you fucking morons, April. What you drive underground, you only make it enticing. How'd that work for you with Milo? Didn't work too well with Yiannopoulos, did it? But you don't fucking get that, because you're fucking stupid. You're all fucking stupid. You got no fucking clue. You got no fucking common sense. Okay? You're not street smart. You're not looking at shit from a practical perspective, using facts and logic. None of you do that. You work off of feelings, and that's what fucks you. And thank God you do. Because it's allowed for us to fucking put you guys back in your place. At least start to. With the bullshit that you're pulling. Like the petulant children you are. So... going back to where we were. So, yep, a lot of them have high-paying Silicon Valley jobs. Oh, no. Andrew Anglin, the publisher of the Daily Stormer, told Mother Jones in March that the majority of his site's traffic comes from the Santa Clara County, in the heart of Silicon Valley. Well, again, the reason why that's the case is because you idiots on the left created that situation. Because you put these people in these companies, okay, and you tell these white male programmers that they're the root of all evil, that they all need to fucking die, that they all need to just not have children, okay, and let minorities take over, and that they need equal representation, and you're denying them fucking work, okay, even though they're the most qualified person for the job, because you hired, a minority or a minority woman or just a woman, okay, what do you expect is going to happen? You're going to have resentment, and that leads to this shit. This is all on you. The average alt-rightist, the white supremacist Richard Spencer told the magazine, is probably 28-year-old tech-savvy guy working in IT. he might not be too far from the truth. I mean, they're going to be educated, they're going to have a background, and they're going to see this shit going on, and they're like, well, look, it's coming down to us or them. You know, us or me. You know, us or them. So, me or them type shit. I love how now you finally get to someone from back to Gab, and you're talking about someone who's not even white. Let's see what you got to say about him. Or what you're going to twist from him saying something or whatever. Utsav Sunduja, the chief operating officer of Gab, described the Free Speech Tech Alliance to me as a group of 100 engineers plus from Silicon Valley who are working with us behind the scenes to create an alternative infrastructure. The movement's goal is to own its own servers and run its own web hosting domain registrar, DDoS protection software, cloud storage services, and encryption technology. Not to mention social networks like Gab and other free speech-centric alternatives, like a YouTube replacement called PewTube. Senjamun Senduja claims PewTube. Another good one here, which is why I stopped actually, because it just popped in my head. I should mention, where you'll either see this video there, at the one I'm about to mention, or at YouTube. But BitChute is another alternative, and it uses BitTorrent to do distributed file sharing, streaming. It's an interesting concept, and I think I'm actually starting to like it a bit more than YouTube, honestly. I'm liking it a lot more than VidMe, to be honest, because their half-hour limit is killing me. I mean, in this video, we're already 47 minutes and change in. So, yeah, I don't see a problem with that, but you got a problem with it. So, Sinduja claims, and I'm sorry if I'm butchering that name, Gab has received hundreds of applications to join the alliance, which he says is purposely being kept small in order to protect the identities of its members who fear losing their jobs at Silicon Valley companies. Exactly, which I'm sure you would love to get someone on the inside so you could dox them. Wouldn't you, April? If not you, I'm sure there's someone out there who's read this and went, oh yeah, I want to get in on that. I want to dox every one of those motherfuckers. Though it's unclear where exactly they work, at least a handful are on Google's campus, Sinduja claims. Good! Which, look at Damore. He was on that campus. He wanted equality. He got fired because he wanted fucking actual equality. Equality of opportunity, not equality of outcome. And he offered ways that if you want to increase your diversity, go from these angles. This might help. And he got fired for that. That's fucking pathetic. Gab is building off the work of a number of existing alternative web services hailing from the far right. No, that's a complete lie. That's a complete misrepresentation, but okay. You're a liar, but let's move on. Pax Dickinson, the former chief technology officer of Business Insider, who left the company after Gawker revealed his racist and rape joke-filled Twitter account, has started his own alt-right crowdfunding platform called Counterfund. Well, here's the thing. You guys on the left had to go through years of his Twitter feed, and he made some politically incorrect jokes. That was it. It wasn't like he was being a complete fucking shitbag, but you see, you're going to portray him as such. I love that. You're fucking pathetic. It took years of searching. And what was it? You went 2 or 3 years back at Gawker, whoever he did it, to finally find something? And it really wasn't that freaking, detrimental to him, but it was just easier to step away? There's also Hatreon, or Hatreon as people say, a free speech-centric Patreon alternative, which states in its guidelines that hate speech is protected speech. Yeah, it is. And I got no problem with that. So, see, you on the left like to classify anything you don't like as hate speech. This was a result of what happened to Lauren Southern at Patreon. And I got no problems with Patreon doing that. I have no problems with them doing that. I would rather have a free speech platform for people to get paid for their content creation by generous, viewers and subscribers. I mean, come on now. You try to put there's this such thing as hate speech. There isn't. There's an alt-right friendly version of Wikipedia called Metapedia. It's not alt-right friendly. It's factual friendly. See, Wikipedia, April, used to be about facts until you SJWs and fucking leftists and feminazis decided to change history and change fact on it. Then people went, what the fuck? And they needed a place where they could go to get factual fucking information. That's where Metapedia came from. But see, you don't even want to admit that. There's even a small alt-right dating site, wasp.love, with the tagline, preserve your heritage, be fruitful and multiply. Join Wasp Love today. Yeah? There are black dating sites, Muslim dating sites, Hispanic dating sites. I don't hear you bitching about them. I mean, that tagline isn't exactly, PC and something I would look at and go, yeah, I'm going to join. But they have a right to do this. I don't hear you bitching about Ashley Madison. Same type of idea, except it's for cheating. And that's kind of against the law in several states. And morally wrong. Though these services are platforms for people who traffic in hate speech, no, they're not. They're platforms for people with that value free speech. Except for Wasp Love. That one, I don't know. I haven't been there. Not about to go check it out. But no, they value free speech. Excuse me. They're different from the message boards and forums of Stormfront and Gab, where white supremacists and anti-Semitic ideas are discussed and incubated, and where perpetrators of hate crimes like Dylan Roof and Andrew Breivik find encouragement and become indoctrinated. Whoa, 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 whoa! Holy fucking shit, April. You are a fucking sleazy, disgusting individual. Because as I said, these aren't platforms that are about hate speech. They're about free speech. They traffic in free speech. Regardless of whether you like it, agree with it, disagree with it, doesn't matter. It's free speech. And I hate to break it to you, but you're trying to, again, conflate Stormfront and Gab, and it don't work. It don't work. So, here's the thing. You drove Stormfront underground. You've now made it enticing. To the point of where Tor and its developers, they don't get a problem with fucking kiddie porn, human trafficking, fucking, illicit drug trade, weapons trading, or anything like that. Anything illicit happening on, the Tor network. All right, they don't have a problem with those types of things on, onion servers. But they have a problem with fucking Stormfront. That's how deluded and fucked up you idiots on the left are. Seriously. That they had no problems with fucking kid diddlers fucking getting shit off of, Tor. But, oh no, people discussing fucking white supremacy. Fucking freak out. That's some fucked up shit. And I don't hear you bitching about that being on, Tor. And on an onion server. But oh no, Stormfront, you get a fucking bitch about, bitch. That goes to show how fucked in the head you really are. Alright? Not only that, from there, with this whole conflating of Gab and that, There's more than white supremacist anti-Semitic ideas being discussed on Gab. There's a small group that's doing that. A small group. And you know, if you portray it like this, more people from that type of group are going to go there, which is what you want. Because you don't want people who value free speech, people who are on Twitter that are sick of the fucking bullshit, people that are on Facebook or whatever, to expand there. Because then it completely destroys your narrative. Which it's already been destroyed, but it would destroy it beyond what it has been now. And I love how you say that it's a place where, these ideas are discussed and incubated, and where perpetrators of hate crimes like Dylan Roof and Andrew Breivik find encouragement and become indoctrinated. But the irony is, where did they get indoctrinated from? YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. But yet you're targeting Gab.ai. I don't hear you bitching about the indoctrinating that's going on with Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Because, oh wait, then you would be literally having to take personal responsibility for the shitbricks on the left fucking up and say, yeah, we on the left, we allowed that shit to happen here. But instead of, dealing with that, we're just going to go after Gab. And you look like a moron. Dickinson is trying to appeal to investors, though he doesn't seem hopeful. Leftist VCs leap at a chance to signal their leftism, regardless of how stupid the project is, Dickinson lamented last week on Gab. No, that's not what... Wow! He isn't trying to appeal to VC people. He's said that, for all intents and purposes. He's crowdfunding this. He's got people buying actual stock in the company, as in the actual users. Okay, this is going to be sourced from the general public because he does not want the VCs in this because they're going to fucking destroy the company if they did get in. You're fucking pathetic. You're trying to make it sound like he's got a handout and he's desperate. He's not. Dickinson lamented last week on Gab. He declined to be interviewed for this piece. Yeah, because you were doing this fucking hit piece fucking shit, April. He knew it. He called you out on Twitter. He called you out on Gab. He knew what the fuck you were going to do. And you tried to play like, oh no, we're not going to do a hit piece. Thinking he was fucking stupid. Still, all tech adherents are convinced that there's a market for their services. Yeah, there is. A big market. The whole fact of being free speech oriented with you shitbricks, yeah, big fucking market. I expect the earliest adopters will be those with the most fringe and radical views who have already been kicked off of YouTube and other platforms, said Anthony Mayfield, creator of PewTube. Yeah, but that's not necessarily the case because YouTube is going after people that are freaking anti-globalist, that are anti-open borders, that are, anti, open, Islamic fucking migration, like in Europe and shit. So there's going to be people there that aren't the, fringe radical view types. But as the definition of someone who is a bad person who isn't allowed to say things online begins to grow, I think the users of my platform and others like it will continue to become more and more mainstream. Yeah, they will. And that's what she doesn't want. This is not what April wants. This is not what Slate wants. This is not what anyone on the left wants with YouTube, Google, and Facebook and Twitter. They don't want that to happen. Since Google fired Damore and Gab lost his spot on the Google App Store, the effort to found an alt-right... What? The effort to find... You're trying to actually group Damore with the alt... Oh my god. So anyways, okay, so yeah, since Damore and Gab at the Google App Store, the effort to found an alt-right internet has taken on a new urgency. No! A free speech internet! I love how you keep conflating the two. You clearly don't like free speech. Dickinson released a slide deck on Friday to try to appeal to investors and new entrants who wish to join the budding movement. He raised $1 million in a couple days, and you're trying to make him sound desperate. That's fucking pathetic, April. You are so pathetic. Alt-Tech promises to restore and revive the old libertarian ethos of technology as a leveler and tool of increased liberty. Read his slides, which proclaim that the movement doesn't care about race, gender, or pedigree, and that its motto is, shut up and code. Yeah? Okay, it's not a bad thing. The plan promises to revitalize rural and small-town America by providing engineering jobs to people who will build the new anti-Marxist internet. Ah, that scares you, doesn't it? The first VCs to fund these alternatives will be on the ground floor profit makers of the alt-tech revolution, reads one of his slides. This is not for Gab. You're trying to make it sound like this is for Gab. This is actually for the alt-tech thing. But you're trying to misrepresent because you're trying to make Gab sound desperate when they're not. You're trying to make it sound like they're failing when they're not. They're growing. This is fucked up. You talk about how they get 240,000 users, and then you try to say how they're doing bad. You got no clue about how to push propaganda, April. You really don't. In the past 2 weeks, a handful of far-right video bloggers have jumped aboard to promote the nascent movement, including Sticks and Hammer 666. He isn't really far-right. I don't understand. So, okay, this is fucked up. You call him far-right, and then you go, a popular libertarian video blogger whose 2 videos about the effort have notched almost 70,000 views. You can't be far-right and a libertarian, bitch. It don't work like that. Wow. And I'm assuming the people that you're writing this for are fucking clueless too, so they must think that as well. Others have posted call to action videos rallying technologists to join the movement to build new free speech platforms, which have also attracted thousands of viewers. While these might not read as huge numbers, they suggest a movement with a groundswell of grassroots support. Yeah, because you assholes are losing your ability to silence us. We're getting fucking sick of it. Anyone right of fucking Marx, anyone right of globalism, which is a form of communism, anyone who's fucking right of that is sick and tired of this shit. We're sick and tired of you. That's right, April. We're sick and tired of you. People like you. We're done. We're standing up to you now. Deal with it. Browsing Gab itself reveals a constant daily stream of posts from self-identified engineers asking how they can get involved. One group that's formed on Gab, the right-wing Dev Squad, described its plans for the weekend following the Charlottesville protest. My weekend is living La Dolce Vita, a beer in my hand, code on my screen, and a Jew in my oven. Oh, God. How far and how far through the posts and how long did it take you to find that? I'm guessing just a fucking bit. Just a bit. The easiest way to describe Gab is as Facebook, but with more racism. Actually, no, it would be more like Twitter. This goes to show that you don't even fucking know what you're talking about. Gab is fucking Twitter. Or Twitter-like would be more accurate. It's not Twitter, but you know what I mean. And yeah, there's more racism because there's free speech, so people can fucking say the stupid shit that they're gonna fucking say. Not even the recent solar eclipse was exempt from becoming a rally charge meme. Wrote one user, the sun now identifies as black and is demanding reparations. What? That's actually funny, April. Oh, did that offend you? Oh, non-PC joke upset your feelings. Tough bitch. That's funny. Gab has private invite-only chats, including one called Alt-Tech Alliance. Yeah. As well as topic-based message walls and individual profile pages. Yeah, it's Twitter. It's basically a Twitter alternative. That was the whole point of it. And I love how you say Pepe the Frog, and then you have a Gab.ai fucking frog right there. Again, not Pepe. Don't look anything like Pepe. Looks more like Kermit. Looks like, God, what the fuck is Kermit's nephew's name? Looks more like Kermit's nephew. The wall to discuss the aftermath of Texas's disastrous Hurricane Harvey, for example, is packed with posts about how Black Lives Matter activists are taking advantage of Hurricane Harvey to shoot Whitey and then post it to Twitter. Another post on the Harvey wall reads, I hear God's fucking up the blacks with some good old nature cleaning tactics. What? God bless the Klan wizard. Goddamn, he's brilliant. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if a bunch of these people are actually government fucking agents doing this shit, that are fucking Soros fucking agents doing this shit, that are fucking bots that are being run by, say, Soros or the government doing this shit. Wouldn't surprise me if a lot of it was just that. Honestly wouldn't, because you can't have a free speech platform. And if you go and look online, this is what's fucked up. Go look who's doing or who has been doing the looting in Texas. It's not whites for the most part. It's blacks. Yet, you're going to take offense to something that points out, even though it's offensive, a fact. Points out, I mean, that was kind of funny. And it points out a fact. Sorry if it upsets your feelings. Another post on the Harvey wall reads, okay, yeah. All right, I read that one, sorry. Of course, it's not all rabidly hateful. Some users simply shared links to popular news sources and hopeful messages that victims of the hurricane would be able to find shelter. That was the overwhelming majority of it. I've seen it. But you're going to try to say that was like the small part of it. No, that was the majority of it. Was people wishing the best, putting news out there so people could know what was going on. It was positive. But see, you got to find that minority of the negative and fucking talk about that, because you're a piece of shit. Users can comment on and upvote other people's posts. Yeah, that's like Twitter or Facebook or Minds. Yeah. When I joined the network for this story and posted looking for members to speak to me about the all-tech movement, I was immediately asked by one Gab user how many Jews work at Slate. Others politely declined, saying the media couldn't be trusted, while some were open to talking. Well, see, here's the thing. The person who said the Jew comment, odds are, did it just to fucking piss you off. And it appears they did. Most of the people that I see migrating to alternative social platforms identify as either conservative or libertarian. One member of Gab, who asked not to be named, told me in an email. They see how there is a double standard when it comes to enforcing so-called hate speech by Google, Facebook, and Twitter. Much of what is being censored or shadow banned is not hateful. It is often simply an idea that the loudest do not agree with. Well said. Unlike legacy white supremacist sites, Gab isn't centered on any one political ideology. Even if many hate-filled ideologies gravitated there. Rather, it's ostensibly a place that values free speech, no matter how offensive it is. Wow, you slipped that in. This is your own twisting of shit. It's not a white supremacist site, but you're going to say it is. You're saying, well, it's a white supremacist site, but it isn't centered around any one political ideology. It's not a white supremacist site. Nice try, April. You want people to move from what they just read into that and fucking have that click in their head that it is one. You're a sleazeball. While Gab prides itself in providing a forum for unbridled speech, it does have rules against inciting violence, sharing illegal pornography, trading arms, and promulgating terrorist groups on the platform. And users can flag a post for review. Sinduja of Gab told me that the network has taken action to remove users who threaten to kill Muslims and spread revenge porn, though he wouldn't share any evidence of those account deletions. Because then you would know the users and shit like that, and you'd go and talk to them, and you would probably find a way to use them to go after Gab. Which makes perfect sense on why it would do that. What Gab does, like Facebook, is foster community. In this case, it's a community that hasn't always been comfortable showing its face in the real world. Bullshit. Up until it's never had a problem showing its face in the real world. You're a fucking millennial. You don't remember in the 70s and 80s, okay, until it basically almost died out in the 90s, you know, Klan and neo-Nazis fucking marching, exercising their free speech rights? There's no way you would remember that because you weren't even fucking born. You're fucking pathetic. White supremacists have long found a home on the internet. No. Most of the white supremacists up until as of late were actually, most of them in these organizations and groups, were government fucking shills and plants. Yeah. That's declassified. On the message boards and on Twitter and Facebook, YouTube and Reddit, communities of the alt-right, neo-Nazis and white nationalists are all different things. You need commas in there. Have found a safe place online to share memes and validate each other's hateful fueled theories. Oh God, anyone who does a meme is a fucking white supremacist or a neo-Nazi or a racist. That's how it's been in the past at any rate. But this year, emboldened by the Trump presidency, they've made a show of spilling onto the streets too, making it impossible to pretend that they were merely constrained to an online sandbox. Actually, no, there were barely any fucking of them until you assholes fucking crossed a line that pushed things in the direction that created them. This is all on you idiots. Sargon of Akkad, and I didn't mention this before, he actually a couple weeks ago in his This Week in Stupid did a really good video regarding this fact. Really good video. He goes through it, talks about this book that dissects it and shows how this is the case, and it's actually a good watch. It's this real world presence that is provoking louder calls for the major internet companies to do something about it. For better or for worse, they are. No, they're not being called to do it. It's minority group like you that's fucking bitching. It's not the majority. You're being the loudest at the moment. And it's fucking leftists who are running companies like Google and others. We don't know whether the alt-right will be able to bring its dream of a second internet to fruition, but its complaints about censorship have underscored an essential truth. Control of the internet is effectively centralized among a few massive companies, something these tech giants may not want you to be aware of. Yeah, we are aware of it. All of us who value free speech are aware of it. However distasteful its views, the alt-right has smartly framed its battle in terms of free speech. No! Because the alt-right is a small group of fucking piss ants, you stupid fuck. But see, you're trying to conflate anyone who's right of you as the alt-right. It don't work like that. We're either with you or against you. No. Fuck you, bitch. Try none of the above. And they're right. All right, and framing things in the terms of free speech, okay, you don't like that because you can't counter that fact because the majority of people in the United States value free speech, and you look like fucking idiots. This argument has currency elsewhere on the right, too. President Trump is fond of calling out Amazon, perhaps chiefly because Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos' ownership of the Washington Post. Yeah, Washington shitpost. Fake fucking news. Lying. That's why Fox News' Tucker Carlson said on his show earlier this month that Google should be regulated like the public utility it is to make sure it doesn't further distort the free flow of information to the rest of us. Yeah, it's true. It's a good thing. Former Trump aide and Breitbart executive chairman Steve Bannon has also argued that the tech platforms should be regulated like utilities. Combined with Democrats making antitrust regulations a central tenet of their new policy platform, the Internet's gatekeepers could soon be put on notice as never before. And that fucking scares leftists like you. And I don't think that the Democrats are going to go after Google or anyone like that with antitrust bullshit. Because look at how Google was in cahoots with the Clintons, in cahoots with Hillary's campaign. So, yeah. And the thing is what bizarre world have we come to when you actually have the right looking for regulation on something? They're about deregulation, and the left's always about regulation, and they're about, oh no, we don't need any regulation here. I mean, that's fucked up. That should tell you there's something fucked up and wrong with this. It should really tell you there's something fucked up and wrong. It would be hard not to spot the irony if one of the most significant threats to big tech's monopolistic power ends up being caused by hate groups. Gab's Senduja believes that Apple and Google shutting out his company from their app marketplace prevents it from accessing 70 to 75% of its potential U.S. market. Okay, yeah, that's true. Even if you agree with banning Gab, the power of a handful of companies to banish anyone from the internet should give you pause. Holy shit. Did I just fucking read that right from April? And by the way, you're not supposed to start your next sentence with an and. That's not proper English, really. And it is one reason why the arguments of alt-tech advocates may find more and more friendly ears in Silicon Valley, where many entrepreneurs increasingly worry they can't compete. It's also hard not to see this conundrum as big tech's fault from the start. In a way, the alt-right is calling out the essential tensions of the major internet companies, which espouse don't be evil philosophies and want to bring the world closer together. Yet also owe their popularity and profits to an internet where seemingly anything goes, until they say it doesn't. Banning Nazis may be a perfectly defensible stance, but given the inconsistent transparency and enforcement of community guidelines from tech companies, it also has the whiff of the arbitrary. Wow, I've been calling you out, and then you come to this. I have to give you credit for this, April, but I'm wondering if you didn't expect people to actually read this far. Because you should have made this kind of clear in the beginning. This is fucked up. I think you honestly didn't want people to see this until the very end. Because you know that people on the left tend to have very short attention spans. Or at least I believe they do, and I've seen people that say that they believe the left does, and I've even seen that from people on the left say that. So, I got to give you credit. Let's see if you redeem yourself even more. In a more plural market, Facebook and Google and GoDaddy would be just as free to boot odious ideologies, but they wouldn't face the same accusations of speech suppression because places like Daily Stormer would have more places to go for their social networking and domain hosting needs. True. They would have, if they had alternatives, yeah, they wouldn't be getting as much, those companies wouldn't be getting as much flack. The early ideal of the internet was that of a great commons where all kinds of diverse opinions could be shared, where people could come to understand each other and be convinced of new challenging ideas. That particular utopian wish list may have always been naive. But the notion that an open internet should not be controlled by a small group of corporations beholden only to shareholders continues to hold sway for a reason. Yeah, good reason too. Because it ends up where you have fucking the shit that's going on now. Facebook was only ever supposed to be part of the public commons. The walled garden as it was never meant to subsume it. Actually, if you go look at the shit that Suckanut has said, he had every intent of getting everyone hooked on it and being able to control shit. He's a fucking control freak. I mean, he's done some really shady shit with Facebook from the beginning. Like giving out personal information and doxing people and shit. I don't trust him. Which may be why the Gab and his Free Speech Tech Alliance has gained the trust of Nazis, but can also invoke the... Oh, now you just fucking lost your shit, bitch. You just lost your cred again. You had to go back to the Nazis. Which may be why Gab and his Free Speech Tech Alliance have gained the trust of the Nazis, but can also invoke the rhetoric of left-wing antitrusters. Well, to a point. No. All out, they can do it. But fuck you. You don't want to believe that. Because they can, because they're not Nazi favoring. They're free speech people. If Google and Apple are straight-up corporations for their political sides, they should openly declare their discriminatory behavior. They should be proud of it, says Gab's Sanduja. Yeah, they should be proud of it. They should not be mendacious and talk about change and be different. Stop gauging in sophistry. Come out to us as a major SJW as the major SJW platforms you are. He's right. Own your shit. If you're going to do something, if you're going to have the balls enough to do something, you better have the balls enough to admit it. It's that cut and dry. But yet, Google and Facebook and Twitter, they hide the fact of what they're doing, and people just buy that shit. Anyway, this is the Constitutionalist Libertarian. I don't normally, do that anymore in a video, but I just felt like doing it. If you like the video, depending on the platform you're on, upvote or give me a thumbs up if you like it. If you want to see more of my content on a regular basis, definitely subscribe. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to ring that bell so you get alerted. Thank you. You all have a good day.